you said you hit the nail on the head. I think the biggest story up front today, other than just overall getting push and running the football early with that first unit, is Aireontae Ersery. And I'll be honest with you, I think when we go back and watch this, the downhill ground and pound physicality that we hope to see from the big fella one day. But what I loved about it was a lot of times last year my complaint to this offensive line was a guy would maybe not have great leverage on his defender and would almost quit.
Yeah.
You know, and it seemed like there were multiple times on a couple of cutback runs in that first drive. There were multiple times where maybe the D end or a D tackle or whoever Ersery was blocking got cross-faced. But Ersery's big enough and can manhandle folks to where he gets the mitts on them, and he just drives them and drives them and drives them. And then it's on the running back to go, now I've created a cutback lane that you can drive a Mack truck through.
Yeah.
You got to be patient, and then you got to see it. Last year, guys would quit, and it would become just a dog pile, right? Ersery did that multiple times, and he's so big when he does that, he ends up pushing a whole pile 2 or 3 yards, the other direction.
Yeah.
So he was impressive on multiple fronts today. It looks like – I don't know if it's going to be right tackle or left tackle. I have no idea what the heck they're going to do with this offensive line. I don't know if it's going to be right tackle or left tackle, but it looks like they've got a young fella that they can trust from jump and is going to be a high-caliber player sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's been such tough sledding for this team with highly drafted offensive linemen that this debut feels really good. Like, it looks like, man, this is a kid who gets it. This is a kid who loves physicality. He was moving people out there. Now, granted, the Vikings didn't have their starters out there, but it's his first NFL live action against another team. I'm really happy about it because the alternative would have been he looks overwhelmed as a rookie. And, and Blake Fisher is still kind of feeling his way. He's been doing it a whole year,
Rough day.
Fisher, Juice Scruggs was a second-round pick from 2 years ago. They've invested draft capital, high draft capital each year on an offensive lineman, and this is the first one that right out of the chute feels like, all right, they look like they might have got this one right.
Well, the beautiful thing about Aireontae Ersery, and from a tackle perspective, is and I've said this a million times on the drive every day when we talk about this offensive line. I can't stress this enough. For me, what gives me confidence with the Texans and their ability to improve the protection significantly, let's be honest, it can't be anywhere close to where it was last year, is they've got to shore up the interior offensive line. And, Sean, I don't know about you and Seth and what you guys have seen, but I know the practices that I've been able to see, the majority of the time, the pocket, when we talk about all the pressure that CJ's been seeing in camp, the pressure typically is coming from the ends. It's the tackles are collapsing.
Yes.
Right? And I've said it a million times. That to me, that Nick Caley can help fix that with Dalton Schultz in there chipping or Cade Stover in there chipping or Chubb or Mixon in there chipping. You can help that. So I take that conversation or that reality and bring it to today's game. If you get if you can get – the Texans can get from Aireontae Ersery what they got from him today, and then maybe in pass protection against certain guys, he may be a little overwhelmed. He may not have the athletic ability right out of the gate and the know-how and the ability to go block some of the better defensive.
Help him out.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Help him out. That's Nick Caley. He's got to get creative and use the tight end, use the fullback, use the tailback, and do. Maybe he pops a center and does some different creative protections to help the young fella. But if he can do what he did today and keep building on that and bring effort to it, I think he's going to be okay.
I do too, and I like. Speaking of Nick Caley, I like the operation overall by the starting offense today. I was keeping an eye on the play clock as they were getting in and out of the huddle, and it was just so much more crisp and quicker. They're getting to the line of scrimmage, and there's 19, 20 seconds left on the play clock, which is, if you're going to give the quarterback, you're the former quarterback, so you can tell me if I'm on target here. But you got that much more time to diagnose what's going on.
No question. Yeah. Unbelievably important. Now, the reality of it is you got to, it's one of those things in the game in preparation. It's got to be top of mind and number one priority as you prepare. But reality is you're going to get to the game, and about 50% of the time you're going to be rushed, and you're going to have all the weapons in place to quick snap it or to change the play and kill the play and move on or whatever it may be. So, but it always has to be front of mind. The minute you let that slip, it can become a problem in a negative way, right? And so I thought that was really good today. The Nick Caley aspect of this thing, again, there's so much rotation. I don't know how much we're going to learn from Nick Caley, but when you look at that first drive, now the result today was really good. I don't want to get caught up in the result of each play, but if you look at what they were able to do, right? You had some run game. mixed in with some quick game, a little Y option that Stover caught right off the bat, right to the right side.
Yep.
And then you had the mid range completion that Davis Mills. I can't remember who caught it. Who caught that mid range throw in about the fourth or fifth play of the game?
Mechie.
And then you got a screen in there, and then you got a boot to the little gadget guy in with the little kick returner, little punt returner.
Barrios? Yeah.
Good gosh.
He's about to be our guest here on the postgame show.
You get the boot, and you get him a quick touch in open field, right? He schemed Stover open when Davis missed him, overthrew, maybe a little miscommunication there. That is a lot of good when you're looking at the play caller himself. And you're looking at, forget the result of the play, just kind of, were guys open? Was there some misdirection?
Yeah.
Was he attacking all levels of the field? That all happened in the first drive.
Yeah.
And you had that impressive drive of running the football as well. So I think Nick Caley, he got off to a good start, man.
Yep, I would say so too. Yeah, the one miss Davis had was he had Cade Stover wide open at the goal line. And he kind of sailed it. It might have been a communication issue, but whatever the case, they miscommunicated. But I think the encouraging thing, again, to your point, Cade Stover had nobody within 5 feet of him, or 5 yards of him, I should say. Yeah. So we saw up in West Virginia some more of that on Thursday's practice. They got Nico Collins wide open on a play where CJ kind of threw it behind him and he dropped it. Very next play, Dalton Schultz gets schemed open on a play action. CJ sailed it a little bit. So it's discouraging, but not a 5-alarm fire that CJ missed the throws. I think those are throws that he'll make more often than he misses. But the fact that the guys were open in the first place was really good to see because we hadn't been seeing a lot of that.
Yeah, look, if we're sitting here week 8 and we're worried about CJ Stroud missing throws, CJ's too damn good that for missing throws to be an issue. Sure, he's human; it's going to happen, right? But I mean, the one thing that is surefire with CJ Stroud is that ball placement specialist he mentioned. When at the time I thought, man, who's this guy think he is? Boy, he is a ball placement specialist.
Yeah,
right?
no question.
I mean, that you can take that to the bank. I don't believe that CJ Stroud missing receivers is ever going to be a problem, long-term problem, as long as he's a Houston Texan. That's for sure.
Well put. Absolutely. All right, Clint Stoerner, Sean Pendergast with you. It's Texans post